We are about to ride with the driver of this BLS AE68 at the head of a Lötschberg route express. This concrete span of almost 500 feet replaced the old two-track viaduct over the river Aare in 1941. The line from Bern to Thun was opened in 1859 by the Swiss Central Railway, later one of the first components of the Federal Railways in 1902. Ostermundigen, Hemligen, home of the Ascom Autelka factory which builds ticket issuing machines. This halt, Almendigen, has since gone. Now doing 85, that's 52 miles an hour. Kiesen with its shunting tractor. An AE47. Across the river Aare again. Through Uttigen. Swiss Federal Railways electrified Bern to Thun in 1919. Note the old trains of the Emdtal line as we run into Thun station, rebuilt in 1923. You may alight here to ride the Thunersee ships from the nearby quayside. Thun to Spiez and on towards Interlaken was opened by the Thunersee-Bahn in 1893 and became part of the Bern-Lötschberg Simplon in 1913. It was doubled in 1914 and electrified in 1915. Durenast, Gavot. Since 1959 this area has become even more built up. Gavotstutz. More of the river Kander later. That was the gorge by which it reaches Lake Thun. Ahead of us, the junction at Spiez had recently been re-signalled, and we shall presently see a little of the operation of the then new domino control panel. The old signal box hadn't been demolished as yet. A quick glance at the misty Niesen towering above, while we wait for this shunting move to clear our path. Green over orange, clear to enter at 40, that's 25 miles an hour. Yes, that's the new panel box above us.
Spiez, der Schnellzug, planmäßige Abfahrt 54 nach Frutigen, Kandersteg, Goppenstein, Brig, wartet auf Gleis 4.
The BLS Spiez depot and works are on our right. The mile-long Hondrich tunnel takes us under the ridge into the valley of the river Kander. This bit opened in 1901 as the Spiez-Frutigen-Bahn, became part of the BLS in 1907, was electrified in 1910, and later became doubled in 1964 as the first stage of doubling the rest of the route. Heustrich-Emdtal. Approaching Hemligen, we see the funicular which climbs the conical mountain, the Niesen. After overtaking a waiting freight at Hemligen, it's less than a mile on to Rotbach, where we slow to cross a northbound stopping train. In more recent years, the stopping service south of Rotbach has been replaced by buses, mainly to permit a greater number of through trains, especially international freights. Frutigen is the railhead for winter sports resort of Adelboden. From Frutigen our route was opened as late as 1913 by the BLS. Electrified from opening day, we're in for some serious climbing, in mainline railway terms. Kandersteg, at the head of the valley, is 1,300 feet higher than Frutigen, and even with a gradient of 1 in 37, other measures will be needed. The 870-foot-long, 11-arch Kander viaduct takes us high onto the east side of the valley. Kander grunt. The salute says all okay here. Soon the valley floor will rise abruptly by about 700 feet. So we start the zigzag and turn 180 degrees to head back north, through Blausee-Mitholz with Felsenburg Castle ruins seen above. This mile-long loop tunnel inside the mountain curves us round to head south again as we emerge on the top shelf. Remains of a recent freight train derailment. Felsenburg Castle ruin again. Now we're about level with it. That's our line below, where we curved into Blausee-Mitholz. Our long climb at 1 in 37 is almost at an end now, as we come to Kandersteg. In recent years, Kandersteg Yard has filled with loading facilities for the carriage of cars, coaches and lorries on ferry trains through the Lötschberg tunnel. Kandersteg is also well known for an international campsite for the scouting movement. A little beyond Kandersteg the valley ends. The engineers were forced to tunnel through the mountain range. Construction started in 1906. About 2 years later, and 2,900 yards from the north end, they broke into a crack in the rock. The resultant inrush of water and rubble filled 1,700 yards of tunnel. Worse, it killed 25 men. So the tunnel was blocked off and started again, on a wide diversion, the curves being obvious from the cab. The finished tunnel became 875 yards longer than planned. We emerge in Canton Wallis at Goppenstein, at the entry to the Lötschbergbahn valley. The concrete portal to the right of the train being a short tunnel on the road to the group of 5 villages which, before the railway came, was a remote Shangri-La served only by a rough mule track. Goppenstein, like Kandersteg, has been radically transformed for Autoverlad, the road vehicle ferry trains. Below Goppenstein, the valley becomes the Lonza ravine. It has unstable sides and drops steeply to the Rhone valley. Not a good place for railway or road building. Many tunnels and masonry shelters protect the line from rockfalls and avalanches. Inside the longest tunnel since Goppenstein, a long left turn can be felt. We emerge 1,450 feet above the floor of the Rhone valley. Gampel is the village below. This is the Lügelkin viaduct. There's a footpath following the line all the way along this shelf. Why not try it for the excellent views? The Beechtal Bridge. The River Visp joins the Rhone below. Beyond the grounded work train coach, the Victoria Tunnel. The rock outside, seen face on, was said to resemble our Queen Victoria. The Baltscheide Bridge. See the man hanging outside the railings, to be clear? The somewhat industrial outskirts of Visp, about 650 feet below us. Lalden Station. Many longer tunnels on this line were given double-track portals, but some of the shorter ones were made double right through. The X of white planks on the grounded coach is for driver reassurance that the single track is not blocked. This freight below us is running west along the Simplon line. At Martigny it will turn north towards Lausanne Yard. Our destination, Brig, is visible ahead. The town is at the north end of the Simplon Pass route and, since 1906, of the Simplon rail tunnel through to Italy. This seems to be an AE-47 of the SBB. And so we enter Brig, where our AE-68 loco of about 1940 will be uncoupled. Perhaps part of our train will be shunted onto another, to provide a through service from Bern to Milan. To conclude, Brig, to return to Bern by the BLS. We'll be riding on number 256, an AE-44 design of 1944. At over 4,340 horsepower, this was the first electric type to exceed 1,000 horsepower per axle. So we climb along the BLS shelf above the Rhone and the Simplon main line, with the narrow gauge Zermatt line beside it. Now for a glimpse of the tiny car on the cableway to Mund, now no more. This loco, 256, has been rebuilt since filming into one half of a double locomotive, an AE-88. As I said before, all this route from Brig to Spiez has been double-tracked since filming. Lalden Station. Visp down in the valley. Baltscheide Bridge. Jollibach viaduct. Lügelkin viaduct. Houghton Station, and we turn into Houghton Tunnel, emerging in the Lonza Gorge with its many tunnels and protecting galleries. The gradient up here is 1 in 37, as on the north ramp. That's very slightly steeper than the dreaded Lickey incline between Gloucester and Birmingham. Goppenstein, before the car train terminal was built. Into the Lötschberg tunnel, a good place to change film, in both cameras. Back now in Canton Bern. Kandersteg and down the zigzag to overcome the sudden drop in the valley floor. It seems an odd place to put the cab door, but consider if the driver needs to get down in a single-track tunnel or beside a wall of snow as cut out by a rotary plough. 40 speed restriction, 25 miles an hour, starts here on the Kander viaduct. And ends, see the green disc, here. Frutigen, Reichenbach, doing nearly 90, that's about 55 miles an hour. Mühlenen, Heustrich-Emdtal, Hondrich Tunnel, Spiez workshops,
Spiez.
the line to Sveisimen on the left, Spiez moves Nord Halt, whistle sign, Cum Halt, Einigen, Kander Gorge, a cat crosses at Gavot, Thun Yards. The Emdtal line diverges on the right. Swiss drivers like their recording speedometers. The record shows I am a good driver. If there is an accident, it says I wasn't going too fast. But again. Kiezen, Münzingen, that's a train on the branch towards Konolfingen and Lucerne. Hemligen, Ostermundigen, an AE47. Across the river Aare and into Bern, with no car park on top.